My name is Christie Bryant. Some people know me as Dr. Christie Bryant because I am a local physical therapist. I own my own facility. It is called Bryant Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy in Merced and Atwater. I am originally from Merced, born and raised. I went to Golden Valley High School, and then I transferred from there to Merced College for 2 years, and then I played basketball, and then from there I transferred to school in Louisiana. Played basketball at Division I college, Nicholls State University, and I ended up making my way back to help serve the community that we're in now.
What inspired you to become a physical therapist?
I would say what inspired me the most was just my own injuries I suffered from when I was playing basketball. I started really young. I started when I was in the 5th grade, and that started with ankle sprains and just tendonitis in my knees, just like the typical things. But when I was in the office and I saw the way that the doctor that was treating me, how he had his own practice, and it was a different type of doctor's office. It was very engaging. You got a chance to be with him a couple days a week. The knowledge he had about the body was, to me, like, just so fascinating. And the fact that you can heal the body with your own hands or just with your own thoughts on how to create a program to help that patient reach their goals. I just thought that was really impressive. And it didn't seem like a stuffy type of a job. I felt like it was something that you could interact with people. You get to talk to people from the community. And it just drew my attention. So that's pretty much how I got started.
Did you ever think you would ever become a physical therapist?
Oh, I knew it since the 5th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so once I started going to PT, it was like, I told my mom, I'm like, I think that's what I want to do with my life. And she was like, seriously? Like, you're a 5th grader? But she supported me completely, and both my parents did. So it was between that or a veterinarian. Mm-hmm. But then my mom was like, you love animals, but I don't think you understand that as a veterinarian, you're going to deal with sick animals. So when she kind of showed me that, I was like, oh, I'm too sensitive for that. So then I knew after that for sure physical therapy all the way.
Can you tell me about a memorable experience with a mentor that was either good or bad?
Well, I will say as of lately, like I would say within the past 2 years, since COVID and a lot of everything was after following George Floyd's murder and everything that happened with Black Lives Matter, there were a lot of, on social media, a lot of groups forming together that were all Black physical therapists. And when you go to physical therapy school, it's usually about 50 classmates in one cohort, and there's 3 cohorts. And when I was in school, there were only 3 African Americans in the entire 150 class cohorts. So for me, I never really saw that representation when I was in school. Like when I was going through my collegiate courses in my undergrad, it was rare to find somebody in your same courses that's African American. So I never really saw that. And then when everything happened, 2020, 2021, all these forums grew for Black physical therapists, and I was able to find other mentors who are either close in age or older than me or younger than me. And so I've been able to really just kind of like bounce ideas off of them, like how can we represent ourselves more into the healthcare system? What are opportunities that we can provide for our local communities to help engage young African American or people of color into physical therapy? So that's kind of been more what I've been doing lately. I have one negative experience, and it was with when I first started working as a physical therapist, and I viewed him as a mentor because he was the owner of the physical therapy facility I was working at, and it was my first job, so like I'm bright-eyed, I'm excited, I'm ambitious. I've been working on this since I was in the 5th grade, and I told him that I saw myself advancing in a physical therapy setting. Like I saw myself being a manager. I want to own my own practice one day. And he laughed at me. And he was like seriously? He was like, why? He was like, if you do that, you should do that like in 10 years. And I'm like, I'm not going to wait 10 years to chase my dreams and to make it reality. It just didn't settle well with me. So then after that, shortly after I left that company, I just saw that our visions didn't line up. But that was one poor mentorship.
I'm going to follow up on something because you brought it up.
Okay.
When you were talking. You said that there were only 3 people in your class when you went to college that were African American. Mm-hmm. Did that ever deter you in any way?
It made me feel like it was going to be a hard road. It was going to be a harder road that I was going to have to embark on. The challenges were going to be a lot greater. And that's actually one mentor that I did have when I was in PT school. He was African American. He was a TA for our orthopedics class. And he pulled me to the side one day because I had a bad test grade. And I was all upset. And I was like arguing my case of like why like I should have got better score than what they graded me on. And then he pulled me to the side and he told me, "You're an African American woman, that whatever you do in your career, you're going to have to work 10 times harder." And I was like, no one had ever told me that before. And it never was really in the front of my mind. But when he told me that, it shifted. It was very like obvious to me. It opened up my eyes to like, there's more than just me being an ambitious, hungry, physical therapist in the making. That there are going to be some obstacles I'm going to have to face, and I'm going to have to really advocate for myself. So that was another mentorship opportunity, I would say, that was impactful to get me to the point I'm at now.
And also I noticed in you asking that, you also touched on your community. And I just want to ask, how do you give back to your community?
Every way that I can. So for me, I like to find organizations that I feel that we are aligned. So one of the ones that I have found that's local is SWAG. So it stands for Students with Aspiring Goals. And I love everything that they're about. They're about uplifting the youth, and a lot of their youth are people of color or people who have a few more disadvantages than maybe the next person. And so I feel like they do so much to try to bring goodness and like positivity to our area, and help these young people like find themselves and find where they fit in, and there are a lot of them are athletes, but they also focus a lot on the person and like the academic for them to move forward into whatever they're pursuing. So I like to align myself with organizations like that. So I'll do, I'll like donate money, or I'll work with them when they have certain pop-ups or different training camps, things like that. So I can provide services for free to their athletes. The scholarship foundation, like that's something new. I just started in 2021, and this year was our first time actually like having an application process and like funding that. So I feel like that's a way for me to give back to my mentees or people who are looking at me like, oh, she's doing it, I can do it too. And that's actually a lot of the feedback I got when we were having the videos coming through. Like everybody was so thankful for the opportunity, and they just want their opportunity to pass that down to the next generation. So I thought that was really cool. And then just trying to have a lot of volunteers and interns coming through in our facilities, just to allow them to see like us working together. And one thing that is cool about my company is I feel like we have people of color in every position. So from me as the owner down to a management position, people of color, women of color. Then we have also with the physical therapist, we have our aides, our interns, our sports performance coach, he's African American. So it's really cool just to kind of see like them opening up like a vessel for people to like have professional jobs, start building a professional career. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you feel it's important to give back to your community?
I think it's important to give back because if we don't give back, or if I have all of these resources available to me and I don't give that back, then I feel like I'm almost taking from the community, and I'm not providing them the vision that there are more things out there than just what you're going through on a day-to-day basis. So I feel like if I don't do it, then who else is going to do it? Because you can never just assume the next business or the next business owner, the next whoever is going to like open their hand to somebody else. So I just feel like it's just instilled in me that, and that's how I was raised too, is like I have 3 sisters, and my parents were always like, what's yours is everyone's in the household, and that's how I was raised. So I feel like I take that with me in business and life. Whatever is mine, it's my duty to share that with people too.
Have you ever faced any discrimination or sexism in your field for being a woman of color?
I have had patients who are racist, and they told me straight out, that they were, but they heard that I was a good therapist, so they were willing to put their belief to the side to get treatment. So I've had multiple patients who have some discrimination, but I felt like it was, in a way, it was kind of interesting that they knew that I could provide good services to them, so they were willing to allow me to do that. But if I didn't, or if I wasn't a therapist, then if they saw me, they wouldn't want anything to do with me. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But I've dealt with that. What I have dealt with in kind of recent years is actually when it comes to me wanting to expand my business and expand services or get new office locations. I feel like, and it's never something that is like told straight out to you. It's just you kind of put two and two together. But I feel like me wanting to get these different spaces, I feel like I have to go through a few more checkpoints for me to get that. So it means that if I want a bigger space, that means I have to qualify for more, or I have to show more proof that I can afford this, or I can I have like my business is legitimate enough for me to have access to whatever I'm trying to get. And I feel like if I was a white male, and there's a lot, like the dominance of white male PT owners is outrageous in physical therapy. There's a very few percentage that's owned by a person of color, or especially a woman who's a person of color. I feel like it's just so much easier for them to get access to all of those resources. Where for me, I feel like I do have to kind of like just like push harder and stay more consistent with like, no, this is what I said I want it this way. I'm particular in my needs, and I know what my patients need, and know what my business needs are. And it's like I almost have to like bulletproof it out and just like lay it on a silver platter for them to buy in. And I feel like from my other, because I do know other up-and-coming business owners who are white males, I feel like it just happens like so fast. And I'm like, why is it taking me longer to get the same result? But again, it's never just, sometimes it's not always just straight. Like it's not always just like direct or obvious. It's just the subtleties that you're like, okay, I think there's something else going on here.
Like, how have these experiences shaped who you are? Have they ever deterred you in any way from pursuing what you want, pushing your business further?
It actually, for me, and I think this is just my personality because I'm a fighter, I just feel like it fuels me. I'm just like, you really don't think I'm gonna stop just because you want extra proof of something, or you want me to like attend this event just so I can like prove myself in this demographic setting. I'll do what I feel is right and what aligns with my morals and values, but I feel like it's never going to deter me. It's just going to make me build a stronger front, and that's where where I have managers now, because a couple years ago I didn't have managers. So now I have like solid managers, and if you almost have to get through to them before you get to me at this point, and I feel like that was a crucial addition to my business. But I have like all these layers now where it's like, if you're not going to listen to me, there's somebody else I'm going to have you listen to. But it never deters me. Nope. It motivates me.
Have you ever faced any losses within your life that have helped shape who you are?
And I've lost some family members, and I feel like some of the family members that I've lost, like my grandparents, I don't have any existing grandparents, they're all deceased. But I know what they stood for, I know how hard they worked to get to the point where they were at, which honestly, it wasn't very far in life, but it's just kind of, I feel like from generation to generation, they do the best they can, and they uplift that generation that, that they made to do better than what they were able to do. So I feel like they didn't have much, but it fueled like my dad to be stronger so he can kind of pave the way for me and my sisters to be able to like have the things that we're exposed to, and that we were able to the opportunities that we were faced with, that we were able to take advantage of those. So I feel like it was a loss but a gain at the same time. And then one of my cousins passed away of COVID in 2020, and he was like really influential in my life. I've known him since he lives in Arkansas, and he would come around. He was a truck driver, and he would come like every year, and he used to actually play for the Dallas Cowboys. And so like I always loved him because he's a Dallas Cowboy fan, and he's just a big presence, like a big 6'5", 6'6", like 300 pounds, and I was just like, I loved him so much. And I feel like he was just like rooting for me, like every time he saw me doing something, and he was like big on Facebook. So if he ever saw me doing something with like school or my, any personal successes, like he was always just like send me a message and like would root for me and just tell me like, you can do this. Whatever happens, let it happen, but just move forward. And so it's just like that kind of positive encouragement that's not from your direct parent, it's like from somebody else that's really close to you, that helped me just get to the point where I'm like, I'm tough. So I feel like he helped kind of toughen me, but also like was like gentle about it at the same way, where it's like you might not get everything you want right when you want it, but keep doing the right things. and do the good work, and it'll come back to you.
What impact do you want to leave on the community?
The impact I want to leave, I really just want to leave. I want, if like say if I were to up and move or something, and it's like, oh, like Dr. Bryant's not there. Like, I want people to feel like, man, like when she did what she did it with so much passion. She did it with so much positivity. She enjoyed truly what she was able to bring to the community or through physical therapy. And I want them to just always think of me with like a positive connotation to it, and that I would do whatever I can like to help the next person. And then I want my business to be able to do the same thing. Like, I want to be able to support or sponsor or advocate using my business. So I would say I want that. Like, I want everyone to know about us. Obviously, I want everyone to know if you're hurt, come to Bryant Physical Therapy. We'll help you out. But I feel like it's so much bigger. I feel like it's just like one part of my platform, but I feel like it's not where I'm supposed to just stop. So I feel like it's going to allow me in the next couple to several years just to find new ways of me to be able to make a bigger impact. But I want people to see that it doesn't matter like what your background is, your ethnicity, even like your beliefs. Like, my business and myself is like it's like a safe haven for people to feel comfortable to come, and because we'll have patients come and they don't want to leave. Like, they don't want to leave, or like they just want to hang out. They don't want their parents to come pick them up right away, or like they just want to stay for a couple hours and just like enjoy the positivity, because it's just, I feel like it's an environment when you come in, we truly care about everyone. So I feel like that's like what I want to leave. It's just like that feeling of positive. Yeah.
If you can go back in time and talk with your teenage self, what would you tell yourself?
If I could talk to my teenage self, I would tell my teenage self to really just be present and enjoy the moment. Because I feel like I was such like an ambitious young person, and I was like, my mom would always tell me, Christie, you're trying to grow up too fast, And it was just like, I just had big vision, like big goals, and I just wanted to be there already. And so I would tell myself just like to really enjoy the process, enjoy every step of the way. Try not to plan so much, just allow things to come to you, and then kind of decide from there.